Hello guys, today we're going to take a look at finding the percentage of a number. Now we've already looked at how to change percents to decimals. Now we're going to actually look at applications for percents. Like if you go into a store and you pick up an item and it says it's 25% off. Well, now you're going to know how to calculate what that means. How much money am I saving if it says it's 25% off? That's what we're going to be taking a look at. And there's actually two different ways that we can do it. The first way is using our percentage formula. Now this is actually pretty easy, and this is the way that's easiest if you're just looking to find the percentage. However, what I'm going to show you and recommend we use is the proportion way of doing it, because the proportion works no matter what number we're missing. Because as we move on, we're going to solve for the base number, for the percent, for different parts of it that we're missing. Different parts of the proportion, which can get a lot more complicated if you're trying to use the percentage formula. So in this lesson, this would be the only lesson where using the percentage formula is probably easier, but I'm going to recommend that we use the proportion. I will show you one of these in the examples, and the rest I'll set up as the proportion. So our percentage formula says that we can take the rate, which would be our percent, times the base, which would be the number we're given, to figure out what percentage of a number that is. So rate times base equals percentage. So what we do is we have to write our percent as a decimal to get the rate. So whatever the percentage is, we're going to have to convert that into its decimal form, because we have to use the decimals when we're doing operations with percentages. And actually on your calculator, if you hit percent, it will change it into the decimal for you. And I'll put a little tutorial up on your calculator usage for that as well. Then you're going to multiply it by the number given, which is the base. So on your examples, it might say 40% of $10. So if that were the case, what I would do is I would take my 40%, change it into its rate or its decimal form, which would be 0.4, multiply it by the base, which would be 10, and I would wind up with 4. So the percentage of that would be 4. So for example, if you walk into a store and you pick up a $10 item and there's a sign that says it's 40% off, you can do that calculation and find out that you're going to save $4. Meaning the item will now only cost 6 instead of 10. You've saved those $4. This is the one that I really want to look at, finding our percentage using proportions. And this right here, this proportion, is very, very important. You're going to see it a lot. You're going to see it in a lot of our upcoming lessons, because we are going to use this to solve for our unknowns. Because you'll notice there are 3 different numbers that I can solve for, either the percentage of the number or the base, or percent. Okay? And remember, percentage and percent are different. The percent tells me how much I'm taking off. The percentage is how much that is of the number. So then once we set up our proportion, we would just use our cross multiplication rules to solve for our unknown number. So here we're going to find the percentage. So the first one, I'm going to show you how to solve it using the percent formula, which tells us rate times base is equal to the percentage. So 40% as a decimal is 0.4 of 45, so 45 is my base. So then all I have to do is this multiplication. 45 times 0.4 gives me 18. So 18 is 40% of 45. So over here, I'm going to set it up using my other method, which was my proportions. Now, your percentage always goes over 100, and that just goes to how we write percentages. So my percentage always goes over the 100, so it's 3 over 100. And let me rewrite this here. Percentage over base is equal to percent over 100. Okay? And you'll recall that's how we always write percents. As fractions, as the number over 100. So that makes sense. Over here, it's the percentage I'm solving for, and my base is 80. And the other thing that I'm going to tell you is sometimes you might see me write it this way. Is over of is equal to percentage over 100. When we're solving for different numbers, generally it'll word a problem in such a way that it might say, what percentage of 45 is 18? So there's a number next to the word of, there's a number next to the word is. You'll notice there's no is in here, so the is spot is what I'm solving for. Of 80, so 80 is my base, it's going on my bottom. So you might want to copy that one down as well. It's just another way to kind of help you remember which number goes where. And again, this might even make more sense when we get to our next lesson as well, where we solve for the base rather than the percentage. But again, from here, we're just going to use our cross products. And when we do, we find that x is 2.4. All right? So again, over here, my percentage always goes over the 100. So I'm always going to just fill that in first. Of, or my base number is 32. I'm solving for what percentage that is. So I do my cross multiplication. I'm going to need a calculator for my other multiplication. 32. And then when I solve, I get 35.52. And you'll notice I'm not talking you through the steps here. Again, we've gone over how to solve proportions. If that's stumping you or confusing you, please go back and rewatch that video. So here and here, you'll notice we're mixing fractions and decimals. It's okay because we're going to cross multiply, so don't worry about it. So my percent always goes over 100. It's the percentage I'm solving for. My base is 30. I do my cross multiplication. And x is equal to 0.18. So over here, same thing. My percent goes over 100. I'll fill that in. My base is 40. I'm solving for my percentage. Sorry, I'm going to break that a little neater. 100 times x is equal to 2400. So x is equal to 24. So again, I see my percent always goes over 100. I'm going to start out writing it that way. My base is 90, solving for my percentage. And I'm going to use my calculator here because I don't know what 90 times 115 is off the top of my head. My 0 a little neater so we know that it's not a 6. When I solve for x, I find out that it is 103 and 50. 100s. And actually that last 0 with the decimal, I don't need it there. I can keep it there if I want. And what you'll notice is this makes sense because this is greater than 100, so my number should be bigger than 90. The rest of these are smaller than 100, so my number should be smaller than my base. So that's just kind of a quick little common sense rule that you can look at to say, does my number make sense? If not, it probably means you misplaced a decimal somewhere. So you know the drill with questions. Post them in the comments, email them to me. You can rewatch the video. You can ask them in class. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.